The story of David and Goliath is one of the most famous battles in history, a tale of courage, faith, and the triumph of the underdog. But beyond the simple narrative of a young shepherd defeating a giant, it is a story of divine intervention, the power of faith, and the rise of Israel's greatest king. The Philistines were a powerful warrior nation, known for their iron weapons and military strength. They had long been enemies of Israel, seeking to dominate them through war. At this time, Israel was ruled by King Saul, the first king anointed by God. However, Saul had fallen out of favor with God due to his disobedience. Now, the Philistines gathered their forces against Israel once more. The battlefield was set in the valley of Elah, a dry, rocky terrain with hills on both sides. The Philistines camped on one hill, while the Israelite army camped on the other. Between them was the battlefield, a valley where the fate of Israel would soon be decided. From the Philistine camp emerged a fearsome warrior, Goliath of Gath. He was a giant, standing over 9 feet tall, wearing bronze armor that shimmered in the sun. His spear was like a weaver's beam, and his shield-bearer walked ahead of him. Goliath mocked Israel's army, shouting, "Why do you come out and line up for battle? Am I not a Philistine, and are you not the servants of Saul? Choose a man and have him come down to me. If he is able to fight and kill me, we will become your subjects. But if I overcome him and kill him, you will become our subjects and serve us." 1 Samuel 17, 8-9. His challenge struck fear into the hearts of the Israelites. For 40 days, Goliath taunted Israel, morning and evening, but no one dared to face him. Even Saul, the king who was once a mighty warrior, trembled in fear. David was the youngest son of Jesse, a shepherd from Bethlehem. While his older brothers fought in Saul's army, David remained home, tending sheep. Yet, God had already chosen him for a greater purpose. The prophet Samuel had secretly anointed David as the next king of Israel because of his pure heart and faith in God. One day, Jesse sent David to deliver food to his brothers in the army. As David arrived at the camp, he heard Goliath's challenge and saw how the Israelite soldiers cowered in fear. David asked, "Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God?" When Saul heard about David's confidence, he called for him. David stood before King Saul and said, "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him." 1 Samuel 17:32. Saul looked at the young shepherd boy and said, "You are only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth." 1 Samuel 17:33. But David replied, "The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." 1 Samuel 17:37. Seeing David's faith, Saul agreed and offered him his royal armor, but David refused. Instead, he took only his shepherd's staff, 5 smooth stones, and his sling. As David approached the battlefield, Goliath laughed. "Am I a dog that you come at me with sticks?" 1 Samuel 17:43. David stood firm and replied, "You come against me with sword and spear, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel." Goliath rushed forward, ready to strike. David ran toward Goliath, reaching into his bag for a stone. He placed it in his sling and swung it with all his might. The stone flew through the air and struck Goliath in the forehead. The giant staggered, then fell face down to the ground, dead. The entire Philistine army stood in shock. Seeing their champion defeated, the Philistines panicked and fled. The Israelite army shouted in triumph and pursued the Philistines, winning a great victory that day. David became a legend in Israel, and King Saul took him into his service. But this victory was just the beginning of David's journey, from shepherd to warrior, fugitive, and eventually, King of Israel. The story of David and Goliath teaches us powerful lessons. Faith over fear. David didn't rely on weapons, but on God's power. God uses the weak. David was the least expected warrior, yet he defeated a giant. David's faithfulness led to God's favor and blessing. God is bigger than any challenge. No matter how great the enemy, God is always greater. Just as David trusted God, we too can face the giants in our lives with faith and courage. Though the world saw a shepherd boy, God saw a mighty king. And just like David, when we put our trust in God, we too can overcome our greatest obstacles. For more Bible content, remember to subscribe, like and turn on your notification bell.